Welcome back, dear students, to the part 3 of object oriented programming concepts. Today, we are going to learn about different programming paradigms. Okay, now, what is a programming paradigm? A programming paradigm is an approach or a style of programming that is used to classify programming languages. Okay, now each programming language uses one or more programming paradigms. Okay, in this chapter, we are going to study two programming paradigms, POP and OOP. POP stands for procedure oriented programming, and OOP, as you know, it stands for object oriented programming. Okay, the languages that follow POP or procedure oriented programming are Basic, Fortran, COBOL, and C. And there are many other languages. The languages that follow object oriented programming paradigm are C++, Java, Ruby, C Sharp, etc. Okay, so in this chapter we will study two different programming paradigms. Now, each programming paradigm supports a set of concepts that make it best for a certain kind of problem. Okay, then for example, procedure oriented programming. Procedure oriented programming paradigm is best suited for problems with step by step instructions. So, when you want to follow a program step by step, then you will use the POP paradigm. Okay. On the other hand, object oriented programming or OOP paradigm is best suited for problems with a large number of related data. Okay, whenever there is a huge amount of data and the data is related to different types of data are related to each other, then we will use object oriented programming paradigm. Now, let us discuss procedure oriented programming and object oriented programming in detail. Okay, now first let's talk about the procedure oriented programming paradigm. Okay, so procedure oriented programming is a programming paradigm which is based on the concept of using procedures, or we have also known procedures as functions. We can call them as functions. Okay, so the concept of using functions or procedures comes from this procedure oriented programming paradigm. Okay, next, now procedure oriented programming is a sequence of instructions. It contains sequence of instructions. Okay, what is a procedure? Procedure is something which contains sequence of instructions. All the instructions that need to be executed are given in a sequential manner, and the computer or the compiler executes them in procedure oriented programming paradigm. Okay, see what happens in this. We have input. Okay, the input is given to the function and then we get the output. Okay, now the best or early language which uses this programming paradigm is Fortran. Okay, Fortran, or also known as formula translation, okay, which was developed in the year 1950s. Okay, it uses procedure oriented programming paradigm. Okay, then what do we do in procedure oriented programming? We break down a large problem into several smaller tasks or part. So if we have a big project, large project, what do? We break it into small tasks, and then these tasks are further divided into subtasks. Okay, in a step by step manner. Okay, so what do we do in procedure oriented programming? We break down a large problem into several smaller tasks or parts. Now, what we find the solution for each small part separately by treating it as a new problem, which itself can be further broken down into several smaller parts. Okay, then what do? Then we repeat this process, as it will eventually lead us to parts which can be solved directly and do not require further breakdown. Okay, and at the last, what do? We combine all the previous solutions into a final solution. So the main task was divided into smaller tasks, and each task, we found a solution for that task, and then in the final, what do? We combine all the solutions to get a final solution. This is what we do in procedure oriented programming. Okay, now procedure oriented programming, it has defined the purpose. It has a defined purpose and usually takes in data, which is called as input, processes the input and returns the result, which is called as the output. And as you know, computer also functions in the same manner. It takes the data, which is called as input, processes it, and then gives us the output, right? Hence, therefore, with this approach, a large program can be split into more manageable functions or procedures. Okay, now this approach, the procedure oriented programming approach, allows functions to be independently developed and tested. Okay, because we have broken them down into smaller parts. That's why those smaller parts can be individually developed and tested, and when they are finally developed and tested properly, then we can combine all the smaller parts into a final solution. Okay, now in this figure we can see that this main program is calling a number of functions, right? And then a function is, these smaller functions are also calling other functions. See, now procedural oriented programming is the way we first approach programming a computer, because it corresponds most closely to the way a computer works. We had discussed this earlier, right? Then a computer takes one instruction at a time and executes it. In procedure oriented programming, a procedural program is a step by step list of instructions to solve a problem. This is perfectly matched with what a computer can do. Therefore, if you want a computer to do something, you should provide it step by step instructions on how to do it. For example, using the recipe. Now, if you remember this tomato pasta recipe, okay, first step was to boil the water, and the next step is to add the pasta and so forth, right? In the same manner, as this is a step by step instructions, in the same manner in procedure oriented programming, we need to provide the computer with a step by step instructions so that the computer can give us the desired output. Now, it is therefore no surprise that most of the early programming languages were all procedural. Okay, like ASP and CSS, HTML, all these languages are procedural, follow the procedural oriented programming approach or paradigm. Now, Fortran, we have already seen the examples of procedure oriented programming. See, Fortran, or as we call it, formula translation, basic, COBOL, and C are the good examples of procedural oriented programming languages. Okay, now that we have gone through the details, let us formally define procedure oriented programming. What is the definition of procedure oriented programming paradigm? A programming paradigm where complex programming problem is solved by dividing it into smaller problems using functions or procedures is known as procedure oriented programming. Once again, a programming paradigm where a complex programming problem is solved by dividing it into smaller problems using functions or procedures is known as procedure oriented programming. Now see, because we start in procedure programming at the top means the first instruction, and then we work our way downwards step by step manner, and we try to find the solution of each part. This style of programming is also known as the top down approach. So procedure for oriented programming approach is also known as the top down approach. Okay, now sorry therefore, using top down approach, you can solve large programming problem by dividing it into number of subtasks or functions. When using these functions in main program, you can ignore the lower level details of how computations are dealt with. Okay, we can reuse the functions whenever they are required. A function, whenever if you write a function, you can reuse the function over and over. Now this results in a neat, precise and smaller code. Okay, now as the experts of the programming field or the software engineering field, they progress through programming, it was realized that procedure oriented programming approach was a bit incomplete. Okay, now if you remember that it was previously stated that there are two aspects to a program: instructions and data. Okay, a program always has two things: instructions, which are provided in a step by step manner, and the data on which these instructions are to be carried out, right? Now, in the procedure programming approach, in the procedure oriented programming, what happens? Solving a problem, okay, we are only dealing with the instructions aspect. We are not concentrating on the data properly. Okay, the data is not given as much thought and consideration as it is given to the instructions. Okay, and you know in today's world how much the data is important. Okay, let us understand what this means. Now see, in this figure you can see that functions are sharing the global data in the program. See, this is the main program, functions. These functions are sharing this global data with each other. Now what happens in this case is that the global data is declared in such a way that it is available to every part of the program. Now see, this main program is accessing this global data, function 1 is also accessing, and function 2 is also accessing. Okay, therefore its value can be changed by the main program or any function. The main program this, it can change the value of this global data, and the function, it can also change the value of this global data. This function can change the value of global data 2 also, and even this. So all the functions in the program can change the value of the global data, and that's why there is no protection of data from unauthorized access or misuse, because now every function can change the global data. That's why it becomes a threat to the security of the system. Okay, the local data is declared in a way that it makes it available only to a specific function. Therefore its value can be changed in that functions also, but that is not the case with the global data. Okay, in case of global data there is no protection. Okay, now it is difficult to keep track of where in the program the global data has been changed or why it has been changed. Okay, the the issue in sharing the global data may sound trivial or very small in small programs, but what happens in large programs, in complex programs, it is difficult to maintain the legitimacy of the such global data if a number of functions are operating on it. Okay, you cannot say which data is legitimate, because all the functions can change the data, and you will not know which function has changed which data at which time. That is why this data becomes illegitimate. Now now that we know uh, much detailed aspect of the procedure oriented programming, let's quickly talk about the characteristics of procedure oriented programming. Okay, so procedure oriented programming, as you know, follows a top down approach. We have already seen this. Okay, the program the program is divided into block of codes called functions, where each function performs a specific task. Okay, so the main program over here has been divided into two functions, function 1 and function 2. Further, function 1 has been divided into function 3 and function 4, and now function 5 also. Yes. Okay, so in this way the program is divided into block of codes which are called as function, where each function performs a specific task. Now procedure programs model the real world processes as procedures operating on the data. Then the data and functions are detached from each other. See over here, the data and functions, they are detached from each other. The data moves freely in a program. It is easy to follow the logic of the program. Then a function can access other functions data by calling that function. In procedure now that we have seen characteristics of procedure oriented programming, let's quickly take a look at the limitations of procedure oriented programming. Procedure oriented programming mainly focuses on procedures on or functions, and less attention is given to the data. Then the data and functions are separate from each other. They are not binded together. The data and functions are separate from each other. Then global data is freely moving and is shared among various functions, and any function can change the value of the global data, which is a threat to the security of the data. Then thus, it becomes difficult for programmers to identify and fix issues in a program that originate due to incorrect data handling. Now, the changes in data types need to be carried out manually all over the program and in the functions using the same data type. Then limited and difficult code reusability. It is very limited to use the code again and again. If you want to use the function again, same function again and again, you can use it in procedure oriented programming, but still it is not that much powerful. The code reusability is not that powerful in procedure oriented programming as in object oriented programming. Then procedure oriented programming does not model the real world entities like a car, table, bank account, or a loan account. Okay, then procedure oriented programming does not work well with large or complex systems. It can only work on small programs. Now, due to these limitations, it gave a rise to a total different programming paradigm which is called as object oriented programming. And in this chapter, we are going to discuss object oriented programming in detail. Okay? Now, we'll discuss this object oriented programming in the next lecture. Okay? Thank you for paying attention. Take care of yourself and be well.